up? We are back in person. This week in White Supremacy. Although some people want to turn it into a all on the road podcast.
Who's
all virtual all the time?
Who is some people?
A person that likes to travel a lot.
Who is these niggas?
No names mentioned.
Which one? Because all
the oppression.
I would say because that one could have been anybody.
And it's early.
Yeah.
We came into the office early. Well, some of us made it early. Some of us were a little bit later.
I mean,
and it was me.
My name is Jasiri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. Happy to be in community.
We're communing
with my folks.
Does that mean we're communists because we're in community?
Oh, damn. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, rather be a communist than a pedophile. I'm saying.
Fuck Donald Trump. yeah, fuck Donald Trump.
That has a whole new meaning now.
Wow.
This is why I had to get out of bed.
Wow. Yes, it does. And across from me.
Oh my God.
Dressed in all black like the Omen. No. Oh, what? It's a miracle? Is that?
It's a miracle.
Oh, there we go.
You know what?
There we go.
Oppression. I am oppressed. What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Miracle, a.k.a. Big Blessing with the Big Blessing, a.k.a. I should be at home right now, a.k.a. what's the purpose of having technology if you don't use it? But it's okay. Here we are.
Well, there was...
in community.
We're going to talk about some technology usage that happened.
That's not the one I'm advocating
Some emails were exchanged.
Difference.
Man.
Yes, we'll get into all of that stuff. And my brother.
The sleepy, Asiatic, and intelligently divine.
Okay, yeah, got you, sleepy. Yes, you were.
The jet lagged.
You were traipsing the world. You were world traveling.
I was, man. I flew back across the Pacific Ocean.
How did Asia react to the news?
So, you know what? It was on in a lot of the restaurants that I went to, like the English-speaking restaurants and even the non-English-speaking restaurants. The news is on there. I don't think many people paid attention to it, but in my hotel lobby when I was checking out, they were talking about it at the table.
I mean, it's because it's like...
But Japan has its own thing right now with like a new conservative movement.
Oh, interesting.
So they have their own... kind of
like trying to keep Japan type of thing, or
kind of, yeah. And there's like a new workers union that's allowing workers to not necessarily unionize, but a lot of the places where young people work, you can color your hair, and that's being accepted all over Japan now, and a lot of people are fighting against it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're having like a very conservative uprising right now, and so it was interesting. It was
some uprising going on.
Oh, I'm sure. Pause. That was Jesus.
Here in the United States, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, well, clearly there's been uprising in the White House for a long time.
Yes.
From JFK on.
Yes. So, from the desk of President Pedophile, we will see.
Man.
If he signs the bill, the Epstein File release is finally passed. So
can he not sign it?
Yeah, he can veto it. And I think this is, and we'll play this clip shortly of Mike Johnson. So
what a name to have right now.
Mike Johnson.
To have a name Johnson.
I know somebody else was on that mic.
Every joke is sexualized right now.
I mean, think about it. Think about like when you say like this wasn't on my bingo card.
Right.
Like the fact that both Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk are now euphemisms for oral is it's like it's almost hard to conceive.
Hard to swallow.
At this point. Miracle, any commentary? Let's. So first of all, right,
I could be asleep right now. Number one.
As soon as the House came back into, we talked about the hateful eight and Democrats surrendering.
Can we start calling the White House the whorehouse now?
I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying?
The cat house,
the white maybe
is what we like to call
what?
The GOPedos is what we like.
That might be a title.
That is hard.
Right there.
GOPedos
is crazy.
GOPedos is nuts.
Shout out to the coalition that's
nuts.
We released the Epstein Files.
Yes, but also, so again, it was the minute the government reopened.
Yeah,
the young woman from Arizona was seated, and then the votes, like the Democrats and Republicans, remember, this was led by a Republican named Thomas Massie, had enough votes to release the Epstein Files and force these people to put their names on whether or not they were going to protect pedophiles or stand with the Epstein survivors.
Right.
And then it would have gone to Senate. So this is what people wanted. You have to then go to your constituents and say why you either protected pedophiles, or you stood with the survivors of the Epstein scandal, and you are going to remember, and obviously all these terminology, the term "drain the swamp" takes on a whole different meaning now.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, man.
Apparently Trump is good at draining things. I mean, this is what we're learning. So
I need Tiana Trump. I need Tiana Trump to just give, like, yo, you need to do an Instagram live or something, baby. Like, yo, just talk about how Trump is tarnishing your name.
Who knew when she chose that name how relevant it would be?
Listen, so from one throat goat to another.
Hey.
Tiana Trump needs to come out and just like we need to hear you talk, baby.
So anyway, again, it's always a reference, and now like I feel like our audience is Googling.
You're welcome.
If you're gonna Google Tiana Trump to our audience,
you're welcome.
She is an adult entertainer.
She's a mattress actress.
Don't use your work computer. You know what I'm saying?
She provides an immersive experience for people in person.
Don't do this. Don't do this for work.
Immersive experience.
So you need to be over 18 years to Google who.
Speaking of immersive experiences, Merrick. No, okay.
God bless you, Tiana.
So God
bless you.
Basically, Donald Trump folded. Right? He knew he was going to lose. And so in Trump fashion, not wanting to lose face, he'd rather give face than lose face.
Donald Trump.
Miracle, the jokes miracle. So he basically then decides to tell the Republicans to vote.
Should I do it? I'm gonna do it.
Oh my God!
I could be in bed I could be in bed sleep right now, but no, I was forced to come outside and labor. Mind you, it's cold.
It's cold.
It's freezing.
It's very
There's
cold.
a possibility of snow, and we're just here so we can make jokes about Trump.
We're not. I'm trying to get through it.
You know, let me just be serious. Let's
Be
just talk-
serious.
I'll
Please
just
be
redirect
serious.
us. Let's
Redirect
talk
us.
about how the rich, the powerful,
Yes.
the elite have made our children their playgrounds.
Yeah, they
Let's
certainly
talk
have.
about how they use their positions of power to have literal human trafficking networks.
Yes.
And when they themselves are not the GOPedos, they cover for their friends so they can get contracts, so they can go to islands, so they can be flued out on private jets, so they can make business decisions that literally harm our communities, that poison our water, that poison our air, that roll back protections that still our healthcare. So when we're laughing about Jeffrey Epstein, he was literally someone who was having business deals with these folks. It was literally talking to the fact that, like, Steve Bannon was like, I'm gonna try not to get you arrested.
Yes.
All these things are
Steve
happening.
Bannon was giving Jeffrey Epstein advice on how to manage his profile, right? Jeffrey Epstein also communicated with Peter Thiel, who is this huge figure in the current Trump White House who wants to take all of our information with Palantir, with the company he owns, right? Jeffrey Epstein also talked about Elon Musk. Remember, it was Elon Musk who first outed Donald Trump and said Trump was in the Epstein Files, and then now Elon Musk is having dinner with Donald Trump. Obviously, that wasn't a road too far. Trump participating in these acts with Epstein wasn't enough to distance himself from Donald Trump because he had power. So you're 100% right, Miracle, in terms of the seriousness. Yes, there's seriousness to this. Because of what happened, right? There's victims, and all of these victims have been speaking out and thankful that these files were finally released. It was one Republican named Clay Higgins who decided to vote no.
His reasoning was innocent people might get hurt.
Right, but it goes back to the GOPdos, right? Who are the innocent people? And we'll play that clip. But interestingly enough, when the bill passed, and it passed unanimously in the Senate, and they didn't change the bill for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And maybe, Miracle, you can give us some insight into why Mike Johnson, he snickered, Miracle. Mike Johnson seemed to think that the Senate was going to change or alter this bill, and floated the idea that Trump might actually veto.
Everybody folded on
these files.
I think people didn't realize how much people actually cared about the Epstein files and like how much people are really impacted by it. There was some people say an ad. There was a video that the survivors themselves put out, and they were talking about like their pain and their need for justice, because the biggest argument that the GOPdos were using was to sit there and say like this bill was going to be harmful for survivors, and then you had survivors come out and talk about the need to pass this bill. You also had male survivors start to speak up to sit there and say, hey, like this is the whole thing. Like, the rich and powerful were literally trafficking kids, trafficking models, all these things, and we need to call them to account. And so once that started to happen, there was like really no like excuse that was going on, right?
Well, remember, Donald Trump has been saying throughout this whole, particularly in the last 3 months, that this is a hoax.
Correct.
That there was no reason to release these files. Remember, the Justice Department said there was no list. There was no client list. Right. Interesting. When you talk about people, though, I did want to go back. People concerned about it. Here's a tweet. Remember when we learned our wealthiest and most powerful people? Oh, hold up. I clicked something. All right,
I'm going to.
What is wrong with you?
Do not.
Should I do it?
Do not.
Wait.
What is wrong with you? This is how we can take very serious situations.
Where are you getting these clips? Who gave you this clip? I'm sorry. I was reading this tweet. It says, remember when we learned that our wealthiest and most powerful people were connected to a guy who ran a literal child sex trafficking ring, and then that guy died mysteriously in jail, and now we just don't talk about it. That was a tweet from 2021 from JD Vance.
Oh shit.
So again,
the dumpster.
Remember, it was the Republicans that were the ones that were saying, when we get in power, we're going to release this information. Right. They gave everybody the binders, and then all of a sudden it was nothing. Kash Patel was just on the floor being interrogated by Congress and said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic minors, right? Megyn R. Kelly is on her TV show saying, oh, well, it wasn't like he like 8-year-olds. It was 15-year-olds. I mean, so again, it went from we're going to expose this, we're going to drain the swamp, right? We're going to expose all these elite pedophiles to now it was this big hoax. It was nothing wrong. Nothing was going on. And so now that the files have passed, you know, because remember, it was Trump that said, go ahead and pass it. It's interesting to see, and this was Mike Johnson's response yesterday after the Senate also passed the Epstein file release. Can you play that clip, Fruit, as we get more serious, as we try?
Do we want to be serious?
Obviously, you don't.
No.
Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I am I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I'm told I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So is he? Do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president.
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see. I was standing there with the Crown Prince. We couldn't call.
Are you frustrated in the majority leader? Are you upset with the majority leader?
I just noticed that sole black guy walking at the end of the steps with everybody else.
And
what is he doing?
Hey, who knows? Miracle. Could there be a world in which Donald Trump veto? I mean, here you had again. Almost you had one pedophile protector, Clay Higgins, right? It would have passed unanimously in the House. It didn't.
Play Clay.
I mean, it doesn't matter if he vetoes it because there's enough votes in the House and Senate to override it. I do think that he probably will veto it just because everybody's upset about. Like, sir, am I going to put out documents that I'm up here touching? Like, am I going to sign the thing that's going to be like I'm the bad guy? Probably not. I'm probably going to wait the 30 to 45 days and wait and either veto it or wait for it to like expire, and then we'll go back and they'll get the files. Like, to be very clear, the survivors.
Wait, explain that again.
So there's two ways to veto the bill. You literally sign the veto, or you just refuse to sign it, and then it goes back. It's like the House, and they just like vote on it to like basically override the veto. Then it gets
okay. So he can just say
he's refused to delay it, and then people just got like, we need to vote this again. So it's like a very much procedural thing. But the survivors themselves has been like, this is what the real is,
right?
And if y'all don't release the names, we'll come forward and release because we know who.
But for Mike.
Does. Like, this is very clear. Like we know who we took pictures for. We know who we met. We remember the names.
Why haven't they done that yet?
Because you're not legally allowed to. That's the thing. Like people don't understand. Like because all under investigation, right? Justice, all these things. Some people have started. Some people have come out and said it was Jeffrey Epstein. Like we remember Trump being there. People have started, but it's also like people. We don't protect survivors. Like, this is very clear.
Very true.
And then when people don't do it the right way, like for instance, if they leak messages, the survivors themselves can be prosecuted for violating the law, right? So it's just one of those things where they're like, we're gonna. And then also, if they have materials that they made when they were younger, that's some child porn. So it's a whole bunch of things that allow people to become predators and just keep on preying on people. That's how the system is built, because the GOPdos make the law.
And also there was this, it was a couple narratives, right? The one narrative was, why didn't the Democrats release the Epstein Files when Biden was president?
It was an open investigation.
Right. Yeah. So one of the people who has been doing interviews is the woman who actually broke the case open. She's an investigative reporter. She actually won multiple awards because she broke open not only what Jeffrey Epstein was doing, but his connection to these powerful people. Remember, when Jeffrey Epstein was in Florida trafficking these young women, the Attorney General of Florida was
Pam Bondi,
who's currently the Attorney General. Think about if you're Donald Trump. Remember, Trump's first choice for Attorney General was who? Do you all remember his first choice for Attorney General?
I don't.
It was Matt Gaetz.
Oh, that is right.
What did we know Matt Gaetz for doing?
Having a crazy ass face.
And having an inappropriate relationship with a minor. A minor.
Right. This is what we knew Matt Gaetz for, right? Looking like, was it Beavis? Looking exactly like Beavis or Butthead. Butthead. Right? Crazy face. But also, and so again, this is the minor we know about, right? If you were bold enough to use, was it Venmo? He was Venmoing underage girls, right? It's a record of it. So if you were that bold to do that
much has happened.
There's probably more. The New York Times just did an investigation on the 17-year-old girl that he was with, right? So again, if you're a pedophile, if you're a president pedophile, and you don't want this stuff to come out, you want to put a pedophile over the Department of Justice, because you all know, you were just also mentioning Trump's spiritual advisor just got busted for being with a 12-year-old boy, I believe.
12-year-old boy,
girl. You know, so all of these people are around Donald Trump, right? So then that fails. Matt Gaetz doesn't pass muster because of this investigation. So then you get Pam Bondi, who allowed Jeffrey Epstein to do what he was doing when he was in Florida. So like, kind of like what Miracle said, like, this is all connected to all of these things. You know what I'm saying?
It's a fascinating viewpoint, because for so long Trump was saying, oh, I have all these, I can relate to the black community because I have all these criminals around me.
Yes.
Right? And the thing about it was, everybody on his staff the first time around was a convicted felon. And now everybody is linked to crimes against young people, to children.
Yes.
And it's wild, like,
or household furniture, but continue.
Or
so this was a,
God forbid if there was, so Jesus Christ.
This was a tweet from a guy named Jason Kander. Best case.
That was great.
Best case, the president of the United States knew nothing about a pedophile ring. I'm sorry. Best case, the president of the United States knew about a pedophile ring and did nothing to stop it. Medium case, he also used his office to protect the perpetrators. Worst case, because he was one of the perpetrators.
Right.
So when Mike Johnson goes and
there's
says,
no plausible deniability here at all.
Well, this is the thing. When all of these files came out, they had, like, you could search it.
Right.
Outside of Jeffrey Epstein, the name mentioned the most
was Trump.
Is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So, like, are you saying all of these emails are not real? Because if you're saying this is a Democratic hoax, are you saying all of these emails are made
it's
up?
like 5,000 something, right?
20,000.
20,000. Jesus Christ.
Right? So if you're saying these 20,000 emails are made up, right? So when Mike Johnson says Donald Trump has nothing to do with it, he's the most referenced name in all of these emails. Again, like, I don't know about y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, ask.
I don't hang around pedophiles. All right.
No.
If a pedophile had 20,000 emails, or let's say if a pedophile, you're going back, mentioned you in their emails 5,000 times, that sounds crazy.
Sounds crazy.
So again, is it something has to be? Jeffrey Epstein offered to send pictures to the New York Times of Donald Trump in his kitchen, Jeffrey Epstein's kitchen, with young girls being trafficked in 2015. Wow. According to these emails. So again, like, clearly Trump has something to do with it. And clearly Trump is feeling the pressure, because whenever they ask him about Epstein, again.
Quiet, Piggy.
Right. He said that to a reporter, right? Quiet, Piggy. Like, don't ask me about this. But again, it's like, if you know how, you react. We all seen To Catch a Predator. You know what I'm saying?
Multiple times.
If you didn't do it, right, you would want the files to be released. You would be like, yo, I had release all the files.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing to do with it. Like, put it all out there, and you can see through the files that had nothing to do with it. So now when we release the files and we see Trump and Bannon and Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein supposedly was in communication with Trump's current ambassador to Turkey about sending pictures of girls, right? This is somebody who's your ambassador right now. Does he stay there? Does he get sat down? The former president of Harvard. And remember, we saw all the bullshit when the black woman was at Harvard, and they just let her just be the sacrificial lamb, but you were communicating with Epstein. Now you're sorry, right? Now you're going to step back. So Miracle was right in terms of, and what's interesting is, because somebody did also mention this, and I want to bring it back to you all, that what we don't see on this list, we don't see any DEI on this list. Right? We don't see diversity. These are all white men on this list. These are white men, white, powerful men on these lists, right? So again, that's also fascinating to see how all of this is playing about. I mean, you did see Epstein texting a woman who was, I think she's the delegate from the Virgin Islands, who was a Democrat, when they were interviewing Donald Trump's lawyer at the time. Miracle.
Let me ask this question.
Yes.
To both of you.
Yes.
He doesn't veto the bill, okay?
Right.
And everything is out because he was, posturing in front of everybody. Release the Epstein Files. He was telling Congress, go ahead, release it.
Yes.
Right? That clearly was him trying to call a bluff.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes.
Does his base care? Like really and truly, like his base does not care. This does. I don't think that I think it makes him look bad, right?
Yes.
But I don't think that there's a universe that, at least in this timeline, where the Epstein Files are released. Trump's name is all throughout there, committing all kinds of. They've already tried to impeach him twice. That didn't work. His constituency, like the absolute MAGA fanatics, are not going to care. This is not going to. They're still going to excuse the behavior. Because there was just a call the other day on TikTok. A guy was saying, what is wrong with Trump children? He actually said that.
Right.
I don't see any of these people backsliding because
Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump.
I'm going to.
Do not.
I'm going to.
Okay, please stop.
I was trying to make a serious point.
You were.
I was trying to make a serious point, and now you got me in my sophomore lowbrow humor.
Again,
but again, I don't think his base cares.
Well, it does, and I'll share it with you, Miracle. It does erode his base.
This I was going to point out what I wanted to talk about was the rise in Islamophobia, and that is the conversation that I wanted to have.
Man, we got to stop saying the base.
But no,
Right.
the conversation
But
that we're going to be stuck on for an hour.
No, well,
If you ever was
This
like,
is gonna be
I
our new
wonder-
"this shit on the walls" moment.
This is like, I used to be like, I
Miracle.
wish I had older brothers growing up. I was like, I just only
This is what it would
have been like
if I have older brothers. And sometimes you got to be mindful of what you pray for.
So I think this is to your point.
Because now I'm just stuck.
Right. To your point, Farouk. And again, there's a whole, the term big, beautiful bill also begins to sound different, right? In light of,
It is no diversity because it wasn't no BBC, it was the BBB.
Yeah, but Bill was the big, beautiful Bill.
Yeah.
But
And just
there's
for,
no DEI on that though.
right.
He was the first black president,
just
so
for
technically.
right. It says,
He
and this was from Newsweek. Newsweek said on Wednesday, U.S. lawmakers released more than 20,000 pages of documents connected to Epstein, a convicted offender who died by. And this was like the Republicans were trying to really kind of dim what that House Oversight Committee led by Summer Lee was doing.
Yeah.
Some of the documents mentioned Trump, including one from Epstein's brother, Mark, which referenced photos of Trump, Bubba, right? So he said, does Putin have the photos of Trump, Bubba? Bubba is a nickname of Bill Clinton, right? So they when they asked Mark Epstein, he said the individual was not Clinton, but did not provide any additional details about the identity of Bubba or the meaning of the email. So that's why we're here, that it wasn't like this email came out and said Trump, Bubba. People looked at it as being Bill Clinton. To this point, I don't know if anybody's asked Trump, has he anybody or anything named Bubba? Supposedly Epstein had a horse named Bubba. I don't know, right? But that's why we got
someone
to this.
needs to ask that question at the next press conference.
That's where we got here. It wasn't that we just
they might get assassinated on the spot. They might get dropped on the spot.
Well, again, when people are people are asking him questions, he's being really. Remember, here Trump is in the Oval Office with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who by all records, right, had this journalist killed.
Yeah.
And they asked, Donald Trump, you're here with this guy. He had this journalist killed. And Trump was like, you're fake news. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And basically Trump was like, things happen. A guy died. Things happen. So
hit him
what?
with the Elmo shrug.
He didn't have anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So again, if you ask Trump, you're not going to get the response. But I do think, Farouk, to your point, that his support,
his followers,
his MAGA support is eroding.
Yeah.
Because not only because of this, right? Because now you have to sit up and explain, like you said, you got to go, and it was one of his supporters that was like, hey, well, I was a teacher and I was 22 years old and I had a consenting relationship with a 16-year-old and I had to leave teaching and I had to register as a offender, but it was a consensual. Wait a second. No, it's not consensual if this was 16 years old.
Right.
But again, they're like outing themselves as pedophiles in order to protect Donald Trump, like, Megyn Kelly's defense, right? So you do have some of that, right? But you have to explain to me. You got to go to Thanksgiving dinner, right? And you got to
what are we thankful for?
And you got to explain why you are in defense of a pedophile. That's what you got to explain. So, but then also you got to explain why the cost of the fucking turkey is so high. Why the Thanksgiving dinner is 3 times more than it was last year?
Are they having turkey next this year?
So that's what I'm saying. So see, I'm trying to be serious.
They
Miracle.
stuffing the bird. What are they stuffing the bird with this year? That's what I want to know.
See, Miracle. See, so I think that all of that is eroding his support because
making me co-sign
right,
y'all's
because remember, Trump just relaxed tariffs on beef, on coffee, because everybody's saying the prices are too high.
Too high.
And
because
so
the tariffs were a colossal failure.
Yeah.
And so these same MAGA folks got to sit down at Thanksgiving dinner and say, oh, well, if tariffs didn't affect prices when he first enacted them, why would they affect prices now when he takes them away?
Right.
There was a report that he took away the tariffs on Switzerland because they gave him a priceless gold object. Like, they're buying things, right?
Yeah.
So the Saudi Arabian family, royal family, and Donald Trump are conducting billions of dollars worth of business. So I think all of these things coming out, like the blatant in-your-face corruption that's happening, right? Him taking away their SNAP benefits, or trying to. Him taking away their hospitals, right? When the healthcare skyrockets along with grocery and all these things, I think at that point they're gonna be like, yo, we can't. It's like you can't no longer hold on to this dude anymore. You know what I'm saying? He's done. You know what I'm saying? You can't. He shot his Farouk. He shot his. It's over. So I do think at this point, MAGA has to find somebody else. Who it's going to be, I don't know.
So this is my theory, right? I think that, like, Trump is like, I'm surprised. In his mind, he's probably like, I'm surprised they let me get away with it this long. So I'm just gonna get everything I possibly can.
Yeah.
I think that maybe he believes he's gonna get caught or impeached, so he's just trying to give himself a golden parachute. He's setting up all these real estate in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
He's
good.
He's banking
financially.
The presidency.
He's great.
Like, he's just trying to insulate
if he
himself.
stays out of prison.
What's to stop him from taking that jet that Qatar gave him and just bouncing?
That's true.
And absconding, like in Succession. We talked about that before.
That is true.
Yes. Like, what's to stop him?
Yes.
He's financially insulated himself.
Yeah.
He's protected himself with all of these quote unquote either foreign dictators or just foreign leaders.
Yeah.
That I'm sure would grant him asylum in their countries. He has the means to flee the U.S.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, just indicative of January 6th, there would be a slew of people that would escort him to safety outside of the country.
Yeah.
That escort him to safe refuge. So I just don't see. I don't see this going bad for him. I could see him going unfavorably.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't see a world or scenario where Donald Trump is held accountable.
Right.
I just do not see that happening.
He's about to die, but it is.
He's about to die.
Okay, so I do want to ask.
That's a great point, though.
I do want to ask you this, Miracle, because, like you said, Trump not being, but again, like, here was the Guardian posted this. where Epstein was advising Bannon. This is 2018, right? This is after people knew about Epstein.
Right.
Epstein told Steve Bannon, I took off early so I could land in time to watch. All good. You look so clean cut next to them. I thought I turned on to figure skating channel by accident. Bannon responded, my come hither look. Epstein replied, better than the usual come hither look. Bannon responded, ouch. Right. So again, it's somebody like Steve Bannon. Again, these were these MAGA people that were like, we're against these world. Like, well, what Miracle, will any of these, I guess to your point, with release of these files, will any of these white, powerful men, pedophiles, be held accountable? And to any point.
No, I don't think they'll be held accountable in the fact that like they'll go to like jail or prison. I think they'll be held accountable as they'll be like removed from society. For instance, like Larry Summers was a person who is a professor at Harvard, does a lot of stuff at Harvard, was mentioned in the Epstein Files. Was like, I'm gonna move away to private life, right? I'm not going to be involved publicly anymore, right? Will he still have access to power? Yes. Will he probably live a rich, comfortable life and like die in peace surrounded by friends and family? Yes, right? But will he be banned from having the same access? Yes. Will he be
nothing
social and cultural banning? Yes. Will he go down in the bins of history being a GOP pedophile?
Going terrible choices.
Yes, he will. But
he was
that's what is going to happen. Like, all these people are going to be called out, and I think that like we're going to start to see that like this old guard they like fall away, and hopefully as this old guard falls away, we have opportunity to actually design our country the way that we want it, where we are not beholden to literal predators who want to invest in death and destruction and want to be like making sure they're hobnobbing and getting dirt on this person so they can have these contracts. But instead we have people who are just there for the good of the country, who want to help each other and just like have a better world and a better life. But I do think that, these people are not going to go to prison, but I do think they'll be held accountable. And then they'll probably get sued too. Like people probably
there's some civil courts. Civil cases.
Let's hope now that interestingly enough, one of the individuals, you talked about it. One of the people that called Trump's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files destructive to the MAGA movement, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie traitor.
Right. According to Donald Trump, or Marjorie Taylor Brown,
because
he called her, because when green rots, it turns brown. Right.
I mean, large up Donald Trump for being able to come up with some of the best branding for his enemies.
Does he have like a nicknamer on like?
He has to have like a generator. Because if he's coming up with
and more so like if he does have like a nicknamer on staff, how does he treat him?
That's a great question.
So anyway, Miracle, Marjorie Taylor Greene has, like when you're watching the movie,
she's a white supremacist.
Hold on, Miracle. Let's set it up before we get there. You know how you're watching the movie in The Hill, and the bad guy turns good.
Yeah,
like the bad guy has like
she's
a change.
Not a bad guy turning good. Like stop.
Hold on, wait. Let me just set it up. And you're like, oh damn, I didn't expect this person to like have a change of heart, so to speak.
It's like the Grinch at the end of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. But in recent weeks, Miracle, can we agree?
No.
Wait. Let me set it up and then you go. In recent weeks, one of Trump's biggest critics has been Marjorie Taylor Greene.
In recent months.
Yes, in recent months or weeks, right? And Marjorie Taylor Greene specifically has hit Donald Trump around the handling of Jeffrey Epstein and saying like he's doing a better job. He's doing a terrible job at that. She said it was destructive to the MAGA movement. She was one of these people that was like, we got to expose Jeffrey Epstein. And when it started changing, she started calling it out. Now she's almost on this like apology tour where
she apologized for taking part in toxic politics.
Yes, she apologizes. It said, that she lamented, She said,
Put on your cape for this white woman. Go ahead.
She
I'm
said,
just quoting
I
her.
would like to.
Just
This was
go.
what she said. I would like to say.
John, I need you to insert the video of the black Superman holding the white woman.
Don't do that.
Wow.
Don't do that.
Wow.
We are reporting on
we're
the news.
reading the news. Miracle. It says, she said to CNN, she said, Green said, quote, I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since the Charlie Kirk assassination. You know what I'm saying? Remember, she was on record as being anti-Semitic, anti-black, super white supremacist. Remember, she came at Jasmine Crockett.
And she got cleared.
Yeah, exactly.
Jasmine
Exactly.
cleared her.
Bad built, butch built body.
Yeah.
So now, one of the people who's trying to clear her, Donald Trump, came out on Truth Social, said, I'm withdrawing my support and endorsement for Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. He put Congresswoman in quotes as if she wasn't an actual Congresswoman.
yeah.
So hilarious. Over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, which is all this is bullshit, all I see is wacky Marjorie do is complain. It seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating she should not run for senator or governor. She told many people she's upset I don't return her phone calls anymore. So she said, he's encouraging somebody to run against her. He's saying they will have my complete unyielding support. She has gone far left, even doing The View with their low IQ Republican hating anchors. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. So she's come out and said basically that Donald Trump never did anything for her.
It's a lover's quarrel.
She said, I never owed him anything. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for, and gave him my loyalty for free. So again, Miracle, to you,
this false belief that the enemy of my enemy is my friend has really got a lot of people messed up.
okay, so that's not true.
One.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
No.
You don't ascribe to that.
No,
theology.
it's not my friend. It may
Okay.
be someone who's going to help me fight, but it's not my friend, number one.
Got you.
Number two, Marjorie Taylor Greene is someone who is dealing with ramifications of her actions. She saw Charlie get snipped and was like, oh, that could be me next. Wait a minute. So it's no fun when the rabbits got the gun, and we're seeing that. She has not changed her worldview. Her worldview was always Jeffrey Epstein was a problem.
Yes.
And she stood down on that and has not folded on that, even when Jeffrey Epstein is now with her friend, who is Trump.
Yes.
Her thing is and it's still a part of her belief that Jewish people, Israelis, are running the world and having power. That's why she was coming after Jeffrey Epstein. It wasn't like, she was like, human trafficking is bad. It was human trafficking was bad because of, right?
Right.
And so there's just a conversation about why people show up in these movements and how they show up, number one. Number two, she hasn't changed her behavior. She's literally saying, well, now that my family is being threatened, now that I am having to have people say that I am a trans woman, which is the congresswoman in quotes, is people are now saying that she's not a woman.
Shit. I didn't know
now that
anything
she's
about
on
that.
the receiving end of it, now she's like, oh, wait a minute, I feel bad. Because literally that elasticity of white supremacy always comes back. I always tell you that.
They saying she was trans?
So basically there's this whole idea of saying that, the whole conversation around Michelle Obama was like, oh, she's a trans woman, this whole thing. So the same way they've talked about Michelle Obama, now they're talking about her, right? So now it has turned, and now she's like, wait a minute. And it started because she was very much America first, very much an isolationist. And so her speaking out on Gaza and her having the right stance on Gaza wasn't because she was just like, oh, I love Palestinians. It was because she is an isolationist. That is her worldview. And I do think...
And that was her issue with Qatar and the plane, stuff like this. She did at least stand on that. Again, her ideas come from a white supremacist perspective, but she at least stood on them.
Yeah.
While individuals like J.D. Vance or Mike Johnson
are wavering because they want to check.
They just want Trump's loyalty. So it's like whatever Trump says goes. She at least was like, no, I said from the beginning, we shouldn't be engaging with these countries in this manner.
Yeah.
So she stood on that. And my problem, and I just had I've had conversations with this twice this week, is like, people are like, yeah, well, maybe Marjorie's right. Maybe she's not this radical. Maybe I should follow her. Yeah. Now it's like, maybe I should vote for her. And I'm like, no, because next week she's going to go back doing her white supremacist thing. Right. And by that time, you're going to be like, oh, well, maybe she has a point. And that's how you actually normalize white supremacy. And that's also where even now a lot of like noted Palestinian organizers are literally saying, do not normalize Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Because you're going to normalize white supremacy.
Right. I can't believe people actually are.
But it was similar. Remember, it was a lot of, and I don't want to say a lot of, but I know there were people that were supportive of the Palestinian movement that were normalizing Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Correct.
And, it was black people that had to say like, yo, like they were platforming, oh, Candace Owens is right about this. I had personally had conversations with black people where I was saying like, okay, so like, when you do this, are you saying she's also right about these other things?
Right.
Oh, no, those are lies, but she's right about this. I was like, but when you platform that person, you're actually bringing people in to everything they say, not just this one thing that you agree with.
Yeah.
This is what makes the internet such a weird place, because it's like you can have that one little clip, and it's like, oh, because I have this clip, I agree with this person. But then you might not know that whole person's worldview, or like Miracle was saying, that their worldview comes and is rooted in a white supremacist ideology. And so people have been doing that with Candace Owens as well. And there were some people doing it with Charlie Kirk before he was killed.
Of course. Yeah.
And my perspective is this. Marjorie Taylor Greene should not be invited into the Democratic Party. Candace Owens should not be invited to the Democratic Party. It is okay to have conservatives reform their conservative party.
Right.
Well, we're now seeing, I think it was like Jamie Raskin, I think I say his name, in like New York, was like, well, maybe the Democratic Party should be large enough to encompass Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, no, the fuck it should not, right? And I think that like the Republican Party, if it's going to be a function of the political whatever in America, can be reformed. It is Marjorie, Candace, their duty to reform their party.
Right.
It is not our duty to normalize them and then put our youth into their propaganda and programming machine.
Right.
Because they have not changed their understanding. They do not support trans lives. They do not support queer folks. They do not talk about racism and bigotry.
All of them are Islamophobic to the highest level.
Right? And I think it's like really important, because right now we are seeing a unprecedented rise in Islamophobia by design. You're seeing people like go out of their way. There's a whole trend now for white men to find Muslims who are praying in public and yell at them and berate them and yell scriptures at them, right? There's this whole thing that's like happening. And I think that right now we're going to need people to be like, you know what? The folks that we listen to matter. The people who are talking to our communities matter. And I think that's why it's so important for folks to speak up. And I think about people who refuse to speak up against Biden until it was too late. Like, we don't need y'all after the man has sat down, pod bros, to be like, you know what, he was a problem. We need y'all when he was there to be like, hey, this guy is not doing well for our communities, for our party. Speak out. Like, people were talking about, you care about ICE right now, but who gave ICE more money?
Right.
Who shut down the immigration courts?
Right.
Like, the things that we're dealing with, I saw something the other day, somebody called, they were like, Obama drone Hussein or something like that.
Yeah, drone daddy.
Yeah, Obama drone daddy.
Yeah, drone daddy.
Right? I was like, dang, like, where would we have been if we actually had like stood up then and been like, we like you, but this policy is bad. Like, where would and like, we have
not just been so enamored with the first of it all. Yeah.
I think we have to learn. And maybe I think Canada has learned, and Britain has learned, UK has learned, that you can critique a politician without wanting them to fail. And I don't think Americans have really understood that, right? Because we think, why are you critiquing them? I remember there were people who
because I voted, and that's like, why.
Do not critique Kamala until like November 5th. Yeah. Well, we need to critique a politician as they're running to make sure they understand that once they get in the office.
Did you see what she just said?
Wait, what did Kamala Harris just say? I missed it.
She basically said that the
We didn't do
administration was wrong, that they did not do enough to hold Netanyahu accountable.
Right. Oh,
They
yeah, I
did
did see
not
that.
do enough to make sure that she said the war was handled appropriately, and they did not use any levers of power to really stop the violence.
Right.
And that is because the Israeli officials came out and were like, basically like, they told y'all they wanted to ceasefire. They told us we could do whatever we want. And a lot of people, there's the reports that even Anthony Blinken had come out and said, hey, this is now ethnic cleansing. We should do something about that. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to do anything. And so it is wild. I do think we have to also be ready for a world that Kamala Harris is arrested. And I don't think we're there that.
Arrested?
I do think that we're going to see a world where Trump is going to be like, in the Epstein Files, he's got to do something.
Right.
Right.
We talked about possibly Barack Obama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the difference is with Kamala Harris, you know,
she
Barack,
doesn't have presidential protection.
She doesn't have that presidential protection. So I don't know if that extends to the vice presidential office, what that means, what that does. Well, remember, he was floating that when he was saying Beyonce did this fundraiser.
Right.
He might mess around like Beyonce, Michelle Obama and Beyonce.
But you saw he talked about Gaza yesterday with the Saudi Arabian prince.
Yeah.
And was talking about that, and a lot of people are saying, well, where can his pivot be for next year? What can he do? And if we keep posting like now that he has this whole rebuilding, people will say it's the continuum of a colonial project in Palestine. Well, what are they going to do when the reporters get there and they see the devastation and all this type of stuff?
Right.
When people get outraged, well, what can he do? Well, the Biden people are right there.
Yeah. And again, I mean, and Biden is looking like he's on his last leg.
You don't want the ICC.
Probably.
You don't want the ICC. You don't want the ICJ. The way to prove that the ICC and the ICJ should not have jurisdiction and say, hey, we can handle our own. I think that's something we have to be really prepared for.
I do want to get back to your point though about critiquing politicians, because you're absolutely right. This is kind of a newer phenomenon, where it's like this thing of we got to win these offices, and that in order to win these offices, we have to be quiet. But again, like if Kamala Harris would have listened to and abided in the critique, the principal critique was around how that administration was dealing with Palestine. And if she would have broke from Biden and created it, almost like if she would have listened to the critique, she would have performed better. You know, there would have been a possibility you win Michigan and these places where the Muslim community, because they were totally ostracized from the campaign, felt like they're not being listened to, or all these communities that were kind of ostracized from that campaign. So the idea that like we can't critique anybody, but again, this was Trump's whole world is if you critique me, you're out of here. Like there's no room for any type of critique, even if it's principled. Again, the guy Massey, who's a Republican, has been leading the Epstein Transparency Act. That's his issue is Epstein. It's not with Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? But because he took that one stance against Donald Trump, now you're ostracized. You're out of here. You're off. You're off the plantation or whatever. And now we're going to do whatever we can to take power away from you. That's when it becomes like, oh, is this politics, or is this some type of mafia thing that we're doing? And is this a dictatorship where we got to like pledge allegiance to you?
Yeah, I mean, we're far past decorum and standing on ceremony what political office is supposed to be. Like the electoral portion of this has been gone for a long time.
Yes.
I think we could probably trace the origins. Like we can do contact tracing to at least 2016, to where when Trump came in, pause, that was crazy. Trump's first presidency.
Did Trump or did Clinton? I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's really
what
good.
I'm going to say is I think you have to, it's like your friends. When your friends do something wrong, you got to be like, yo, bro, that wasn't okay. Like, no. You still have to be able to critique politicians, because politicians are doing things that are going to hurt you. And then what do they love to say? Oh, I had no idea. Yeah. Nobody told me. I never heard that before.
Yeah.
What? Data centers
deny.
What? And so I do think you have to have a conversation. And I I just want better for the world.
Yeah. And there's also this whole conversation. I know we're getting close to the end of the podcast. Also, there's this conversation that where you have folks are kind of breaking away. They're kind of like this MAGA breaking away from
like
Donald
a schism.
Trump.
Yeah, and we talked about this before.
Where
like
you have Massey, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, but then you have this other piece where you just had Tucker Carlson interviewing Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
And you know, Nick Fuentes is an unapologetic white supremacist, racist,
but isn't he Mexican?
Piece of human garbage. I don't know what he is.
Yeah.
He is a white supremacist piece of garbage, like actively just saying the N-word off of his tongue like nothing.
Yeah.
And so obviously people were upset with Tucker Carlson for giving him kind of this puff interview. And of course, Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, much like Marjorie Taylor Greene, to Miracle's point, are all these, much like Candace Owens, all these people that have this also critique of Israel.
Yeah.
Because white supremacy also includes anti-Semitism.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is why you can't have this thing where I'm going to support these white supremacists. Like, you're cool with anti-blackness. You're cool with Islamophobia. You're cool with transphobia, right? You're cool with homophobia. But then it's like, oh, but don't be anti-Semitic. They can't stop them. It's not like they're going to just stop there.
Right. Yeah.
Their racism, white supremacy isn't just going to stop right before they get to No, they're anti-Semitic too.
Yeah.
And this is why, like, giving them power and giving them this level of access doesn't really make any sense. It's either we're going to, and you've said it a lot on this show, either we're going to embrace everybody.
Yeah.
Either we embrace everybody and allow everybody's humanity to exist on the same level. But once we start saying, oh no, you're not human. I am, but you're not. And we think these white supremacist pedophiles in power are going to then all of a sudden stop their racism, white supremacy right as it comes to Jewish people. It doesn't work that way.
No, not at all.
And I think we're seeing this, and it's a thing of like, oh, now all of a sudden, voices like this are being not just being platformed, but being popularized at a level that we've never seen. And so I would say the answer is, why don't we all collectively fight white supremacy? Why don't, like, again, you can have an issue with like, if there's a policy of Mandami that you don't like, that's fine. You can say, hey, free buses, I'm not sure how that's going to happen. Rent stability, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that. But once it goes to Islamophobia, right, it's like a boomerang, right? And if you're anything of the on the other side, that boomerang is going to come back and hit you, because then when it's you know a Governor Josh Shapiro running for president, you think that all of this anti-Semitism ain't going to come out, and he's not going to have to deal with that. So absolutely, why don't we collectively say, hey, all of this is bad. Anti-blackness is bad. Islamophobia is bad. Anti-Semitism is bad. Transphobia is bad. Homophobia. We want people to be able to live, be humans, to thrive, to grow, to love, to have water, to have food, to have high-speed rails. We want all of this. And so that's where it becomes weird that you see these people almost hedging on this type of stuff. So absolutely. Yeah. That was I don't know if that's my video. Would that qualify as my video?
No, it does not. But anyhow, I also think it's very important to address bigotry and hatred, because division is how you're able to keep people in silos and justify violence, right? If you're afraid of another community, then you go, oh, what do we need? You need a gun, right? Somebody could hurt you. You need a gun to protect yourself. You need, army to protect yourself. You need a military to protect yourself. You need a bomb to protect yourself. And then we get into this idea of like, we just normalize killing based on like fear and protection. And one of the reasons why I think there's so much money that is poured into like Peter Thiel, and, they spend so much money, Leonard Leo, to support people on social media who amplify hatred, is because they know that as long as people are divided, they're not going to be able to work together. And so I think it's just like really important for people to come together and be like, you know what, there is room in this world for everybody. Everyone can have self-determination without displacing people. Everyone can have food on their table. Everyone can have house and shelter. Like, it's just like there is enough,
Yeah, it was this whole piece where it said that Twitter disabled the ability to translate from Hebrew to English.
Really?
And one of the reasons they did that because people were seeing some of these, how like the hatred that people were tweeting out, and putting it in English and amplifying these voices that are powerful voices within the Israeli government.
Right.
And saying like, this is what people told. And again, instead of confronting, and this was the whole thing, last thing I'll say is this is, this was something that, somebody interviewed John Fetterman, our senator, has a book called Unfettered, which whoever came up with that title, you're terrible. I mean, come on, really? That's how original you are. So he's doing these, he's doing his tour, his book tour, and then somehow fell down, but whatever.
You beat me to it.
He talked about like, it's social media, right? This was the argument that Van Jones also made, right? That the reason that young people or younger people, even a lot of younger Jewish people, have this issue with the Israeli government is because of social media, right? It was just and I don't remember the woman's name, but she wrote for Obama, and her take was that back in the day, and it was really, she was right. Back in the day, we had American media, and she was basically saying like it was rare that we didn't have access to global media. You have to get a newspaper. You have to actually find a news. Like maybe if you were in New York, right, you could get maybe like a Haaretz or a Jewish Observer newspaper, or you could get a newspaper from a different Saudi Arabia But again, culture, we don't. If it was in Arabic or if it was in another language, we don't read that language. Right. So all we had was American media, and American media was able to give us what they wanted us to see. Right now, we have access to global media. We just read stories on this show from The Guardian, from the BBC, from Al Jazeera, right? We have global media. And so now we can get a different picture of what's happening. But instead of saying like, and this is where it becomes weird, instead of critiquing the Israeli government's handling of Gaza or Netanyahu and his cabinet's handling of this, right? Because if you're Van Jones and you're like, all we see is dead baby. Well, how did the baby die?
Right.
Like you can't show a dead baby unless somebody who killed the baby, and why, who sees a dead baby and isn't horrified?
Right.
Who sees a dead child?
Well, clearly there's enough right-wing people that are justifying it that aren't bothered. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, to see a dead child, whatever race they are, your heart breaks. That's a child. Yeah. And again, we got more vitriol for Miss Rachel than the people who are actually killing the children. And again, by whatever, if the people killing the children in the Sudan are black people, that doesn't give them a pass. Right. Because they're African. You're killing and starving children. We want you brought to justice as well. We want the people in the Congo brought to justice. This isn't about what your religion is or where you come from or what your political ideology. We want children to be able to live. Yeah. And so this idea that, we have to somehow limit what people see instead of limiting the actual death is crazy. Like, who thinks that way? This is like, what type, to me, that is the inhumanity. Well, to think that if we just didn't show it, right? We have a Holocaust museum now. So we don't forget, right? So you go see and it's video and you can see it, you can be like, whoa, what happened was such an injustice. And so horrible. We never want to see this happen again. And so now when we're seeing whole generations of people, our response is we shouldn't be showing that. Or we should be limiting that video. Again, it doesn't make any sense. And so it's either we preserve humanity in totality or we all gonna go. I would rather us preserve humanity in totality. I don't know. Miracle?
Yeah, I think it's very important to sit there and say the issue is not that we see death. The issue is that death is happening.
Right.
And that is what is missed in these conversations is we talk a lot about the fact that the civil rights movement was at its strongest when people saw the images of black and brown people being beaten on
Correct.
the bridges during the marches.
Yes.
Because it
Bloody
was
Sunday.
It was like a shock to people's conscience.
Yes.
But the fact that we can understand in the 50s and 60s that shock was needed to make governments act, and then we're acting irate that people are looking at the same images and saying, hey, we need a government to act, is mind-boggling to me, because a lot of people just assume that the only way to deal with black and brown folks and Muslims is through death and violence. And you look at what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. People have no problem using diplomacy. People have no problem saying we need a ceasefire.
Right.
People have no problem saying we're going to have a talk after talk after talk. We're going to fly here, fly there to have a talk. But somehow when people are asking the same thing for black and brown people, and I say that because look what's going on in Venezuela right now.
Right.
Look what's going on in the Caribbean, and people are doing the same thing, like do not do this. Nigeria, same thing. Do not do this. We need diplomacy. We need diplomacy. We need diplomacy. And for some reason, it's okay to say we need diplomacy when it is white people who are I think a lot of times when those first images of Ukraine happened, and there was that announcer who said we're not used to seeing images of white babies being hurt,
and everybody was putting the flag in their social media. Yeah, absolutely.
Like all the things. If we can respond to violence the same way, whenever it happens, I think we make the world a safer place. And I think that we've seen with the weapons industry that whether it's Ukraine or Russia, we would not have these long wars if it wasn't for these weapons that we create and we make profit off of. Like there are weapons manufacturers here in Pennsylvania that's sending stuff to Ukraine. There's weapons manufacturers all across the country, the global South, that's sending weapons to Russia. So like we have a business, we're in the industry. And I think people have to understand industry needs propaganda, and the propaganda for those industries now is social media.
True.
People who wanted to keep us separate, people wanted to keep us fighting, and we should be amplifying voices for like peace, liberation, and justice. It's like, we don't have to live like this. Like this has got to stop. That's my opinion on these things.
Yeah. It's a lot happening in the world, and we choose laughs.
We do.
And then we choose humanity. You know what I'm saying? Humanity and laughs is how we, and we'll see, I guess, we'll see what the next step is as far as will, Donald Trump sign off on this?
When's he supposed to?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. When I guess we'll keep refreshing. So far, he hasn't yet. You know what I'm saying? It's on Trump's desk. It says it's unclear if the DOJ will release the files, if the measure is signed, or whether they were made tying up in investigations. It is fascinating to watch all this happen. Thanksgiving is going to be turned up.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be turned up.
We say this every year, but please ruin your Thanksgiving. And if you do it, get footage and send it to us.
Get all of the jokes. Get a collect, and there was a lot of jokes.
So many.
A lot of Trump jokes. Trump and Nancy Reagan. A lot of, Bill Clinton gave Trump his first taste of the presidency,
which is crazy.
That's
crazy.
A lot of good, fascinating jokes. Come with your jokes ready. Come with your truth ready. Yes. Send us video. We didn't even get to Elon's dad just being a straight racist. Again, like it's a place now. You mentioned that video, and it was a video of it's a progressive TikToker, and the guy called him and said, why can't we? What's wrong with he used the R word.
Yeah.
Children.
Yeah.
It is wild that we're in a time
where that's just like a lot. You can just offer that response up.
His face was being shown.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even have a mask on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That people are comfortable just being openly racist.
Just deplorable human beings.
Right. And and that there is, like Miracle said, there's like a way, like Nick Fuentes is making money. People are subscribing to his. Remember, when we talk about pedophiles in the Trump administration, remember who they also made sure Andrew Tate, a convicted offender, could get into the United States.
Yeah.
We're arresting people that are doing landscaping and other jobs, right? We're arresting them, daycare workers. We're going into daycares and arresting them. But Andrew Tate can get in. Again, it's like, so when it's all, if it's 5 or 6 or 7, if they're all pedophiles around you, like,
man.
If you're not a pedophile,
association breeds similarities.
Right? Why are they all around you? That was always my. That was always.
What do y'all talk about? Like
that was always my.
Because
that was,
usually,
yes, that was on my Nicki Minaj critique. That was always my Nicki Minaj critique. Is like, why are you always around people that are abusing children? Like, what you don't like? You can make a choice.
Yeah.
And say, I'm not going to be around.
Now
these
she's speaking
people.
at the UN on behalf of the Trump administration.
Again, I mean, now you're with some more pedophiles.
Right.
So when it's like, okay, now I'm looking at you and saying, why do you keep choosing the pedophile team? Like, why is that always like you get a choice?
But there are other people.
And it's always like, wait, which one of these is pedophiles? And you're asking that not to go for the other choice.
Maybe she
who's
wants the power.
On the side of pedophiles? I want to be down with them. That's weird, don't we think?
So. I mean, I agree with you, but
I mean, and again, like, Nicki Minaj is one of the greatest rappers to ever live, in my opinion.
I agree. I'm not gonna refute
as
that.
a rap artist, great. But now you're getting into Kanye territory. Now I gotta put you.
And see how that has worked out for him.
Yeah.
Yes,
Kanye ain't even in Kanye territory anymore.
Kanye is trying to buy. Kanye is looking for Jewish people right now.
Yeah, man.
Yo, where's another Jewish people? Hey, can I apologize to you on camera? Can I send you an apology text message? Not to black people. Now, again, like, that's a whole nother thing. Not to any of the other groups, particularly us.
Right.
Do we get an apology, Kanye? We certainly need one. You put on a Black Klansman costume. Can we fucking get an apology?
He gave us an apology in the form of just keep releasing fire music.
No, that's not an apology. That's not an apology.
I accepted your apology.
No, absolutely not.
He
fire
didn't.
Music? No.
He put out fire music.
No,
man.
he has not.
Weirdo. What?
No, he's not.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not about to do this right now.
That's an edit.
I think that,
That's an edit
that
point.
is
Fire music? No. He is not.
But I think that what
Beat is
Nicki
still
Minaj could have talked about at the UN is the fact that black women are being forced to give birth on the side of the streets and in the lobbies of hospitals because hospitals are not allowing, people to have labor in a bed because they're telling black women like you're not due yet, and they're having children within 15 minutes of being sent home. So I think that's what Nicki Minaj could have done if she wanted to just talk about something. If she wanted to talk about war and violence, you could talk about not needing war and violence. You're asking people to stop and not, doing what she needs to do to get possibly a pardon for her sibling. So
and her husband.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that has been, like, we know. I mean, we're in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a world-class health system. Our children's hospital is world-renowned until you are a black woman giving birth, and then it becomes a third world system. And so I'm glad these videos are getting released so we see this is what happens. And I hope these nurses, again, losing a job sometimes ain't enough for me. That's a good start.
Yeah.
I be wanting just more karma to come into your life. But to be a nurse and to see somebody act like in that level of pain and to not have any feeling towards them, that is white supremacy on display. So when you ask, there's no such thing, that's white supremacy on display that we're seeing. So I'm glad you brought those up. Those videos are available online. We have our white pages today. This is Colson Whitehead. It's called The Underground Railroad. Praise for the Underground Railroad. Kept me up at night. Had my heart in my throat, almost afraid to turn the next page, get it, then get another copy for someone you know, because you are definitely going to want to talk about it once you read that heart-stopping last page. That came from Oprah Winfrey.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Colson, Whitehead.
You don't hear
the
much about
Underground
Oprah
Railroad.
anymore today.
Yeah, I mean, Oprah's in Maui living her best life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, you know.
And I was recently alerted to the fact that Pittsburgh was a part of the Underground Railroad.
Definitely.
There's multiple stops here, and you can do a walking tour and actually walk the stops of the Underground Railroad here in Pittsburgh as you want to fight to freedom.
Yes. And speaking of Pittsburgh, if you are in Pittsburgh, we have an event this Friday, November 21st. It is a righteous supper. We're asking folks to bring food. We realize the government is open, but there's still a lot of people that are struggling. The holidays are coming up. We want to make sure people are fed. So our Artivist Academy, a super dope artist named Camo Customs, decided to use his time to do a live painting, but it's really a fundraiser for organizations like CRIP, Community Care and Resistance in Pittsburgh, that do a lot of outreach to our homeless community. So if you want to see some dope painting, eat some good food, be in fellowship with organizations that are doing mutual aid and are helping the least fortunate among us and make a donation towards them, this Friday, November 21st, it's 6 to 8 is the time, 6 to 8 p.m. Come out, enjoy fellowship with us. Shout out to Camo Customs for our Artivist event. Is there anything else going on this weekend? That's it, right?
That's it.
That's it. So with that being said, final words.
It's the fall of freedom. Artists step up, speak out, use your art to make a message.
Cool.
And change.
Sir?
No. Just Siri, wrap us up. We gotta go. Wrap us up, please.
Well, did he or did Bill Clinton?
Siri!
With that being said, this week of White Supremacy, he did it. Allegedly, he did it.